Hello everyone. I wanted to make a sermon video today. I'm in the Proverbs series and I'm in the 10th chapter, and it says the Proverbs of Solomon, a wise, in the King James Version, the Proverbs of Solomon, a wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. So, some people climb to the top financially, but they don't do it honestly, and they get a reputation. And when they die, they could be one of the wealthiest men in the country, but they're also the loneliest. Nothing could be worse than facing death alone. Without the love of God in your life, all things money can buy are little in comparison with having God with us. And it says, I might not read all of this chapter, I just maybe pick a few verses and you can read behind me, the 10th chapter of Proverbs. It says, the Lord will not, this verse 3, the Lord will not suffer the souls of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. A lot of people try to manipulate other people, and money has no influence over God. The wealthy man has no value in the presence of God. True wealth is in the love and fear of God. It can't be bought, but it can be received as a gift. But if it is received, it can't share space with material wealth. You cannot serve God and mammon. So, verse 4 and 5 says, he becometh slack that dealeth with the poor. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. And he that gathereth in the summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is the son that causeth shame. Some people just do their job. They don't do any more. They exact all their labors. That's all they're going to do. And then they seem like they are surprised when someone else gets the promotion. I heard a story about a retiring builder. There's different variations out there. You probably heard it too. But it says this man, he was known throughout the country as a great builder, and he used the best materials, the best labor in all that he built. And excuse me, I'm having a little problems this morning, but we'll get through this maybe. And he used the best materials and best labor. And so he told his boss, he said, I want to retire. And the boss said, no, I don't want you to. And he said, yeah, it's time. I've been working many years. And he said, well, if you would, just build me one more house before you retire. That's all I ask you. And he said he didn't want to, but he said, okay. So he built this house, but he didn't use the best materials and he didn't use the best laborers. He was just trying to get through it. And so he had his retirement, and he got up. They asked him to say something. He got up and spoke and said, he wanted to retire. And right before he started down off the podium, they said, hold on just a minute. We want to say something. And they handed him a keys to a house. It was the last house he built. And don't you know, he wished he had done better and used the better materials. It says, the memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot. It says, the wise in heart will receive commandments, but a prating fool shall fall. I looked up prating, and I believe it means, or prating, however how you say it. I think it means something like the people that just talk on and on and on. Listen a little and talk a lot. I pray that God will unplug my ears and let me hear the wisdom of those who care for me. Uh, verse 9 says, he walketh uprightly. walketh surely, but he that perverteth his ways shall be known. God is the author of life, so it makes sense to me that we turn to him in the times of difficulty or trial. Our help's always in the Lord. It says, he winketh with the eyes, with the eye causeth sorrow. That's verse 10. But a prating fool shall fall, prating, whatever it was. We need to be able to trust others, and we need to have honesty. And then verse 13, I'm going to skip down to that one. It said, in the lips of him that hath understanding, wisdom is found, but the rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding. You know, the people have mules and other animals, and sometimes they don't do what they want them to do, and they have to take the reins or some other whip and whip them, and then maybe the farmer tried to whisper in the ear of the animal and it wouldn't do, so he did that. He whipped him. And then he goes and starts whispering in the ears of the animal, and it complies. That's the way God is. He tries to talk gentle to us, but we resist. And the only way to get our attention sometime is with a rod of correction and a striking blow, a stinging blow. Said the way, verse 17, he is in the way of life that keepeth instruction, but he that refuseth reproof erreth. There's nothing, God's in truth and honesty. There's nothing to be gained. Some people, they'll, whatever it is to get money, they'll stretch the truth or do business practices. It's not good. And it says in verse 19, it said, in the multitude of words there warneth not sin, but he that retaineth his lips is wise. I heard a story about a man. He started retiring. He had been the kind of person when they had a board meeting or any kind of meeting, he excelled. And they asked him, said, since you retired, what's the secret of the way you did in meetings? And he said, well, if you'll remember, I didn't hardly say anything, just very little. So reserve our words for that have some kind of meaning. They said words that are fitly spoken are like apples of gold and pictures of silver. And it says in verse 21, the lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. I pray that the Lord will make my words have direction and not to let them fall aimlessly. I think it was Samuel, they said that God did let none of his words fall to the ground. And I want the Lord to take my words and let them be his words, to tell me the words he wants me to use. My lips and my speech, just be a voice for him. And the fear of the Lord, the fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. It says, let me get back to one book right here. As the whirlwind passes, so is the wicked no more, but the righteous is an everlasting foundation. You know, we had a tornado in the Hazel Green area in '74, and it was amazing. It lifted buildings. It took pieces of paper and blew them, and they were found somewhere up north. I'm thinking Illinois, but it might have been Kentucky or somewhere. It's amazing. It drove a broom straw through a tree, I think. Sucked the water out of a well. And that's what's going to happen to the wicked. But if you got a good firm foundation, it's got more of a chance of lasting. And I heard a story of 3 trees. There was an oak tree, I believe, a pine tree, and a little cedar tree. stood on the side of a hill, and this storm came and blew the oak tree down the hill, blew the pine tree down the hill. But the little cedar tree was standing the next morning, and the men of that village went out and they wanted to know why that stood like it did. So they took shovels and they dug down deep, and they found that the roots of the cedar tree was wrapped around a big old rock, and that's what held it in there. Is your roots wrapped around the rock, Jesus Christ? That's what you need. It says, the righteous shall never be removed, but the wicked shall not inhabit the earth. The mouth of the just bringeth forth wisdom, but the forward tongue shall be cut out. The lips of the righteous knows what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaketh frowardness. I've enjoyed getting this to you today. Please forgive me for my allergies. I sneezed before the video, and had a pretty good bit of trouble. But just concentrate on the words. I did this because I love you. I care about you, and I wanted to help somebody today. So may God bless you is my prayer. I'm going to give you my phone number, 256-508-4410. If you need me, feel free to call me, but leave me a message, because I get calls that's not in my contact list, and I don't know who they are, so I don't call them back if they don't leave a message. So leave me a message, and 256-508-4410, and may God bless you. I'm not making these to replace your minister or replace you getting to church. I'm just doing this for people that might be like in the hospital or nursing home or rehab or sick in the bed or whatever. That's primarily what I'm doing for. But if it'll help anybody, I'll be so thankful. So may God bless you is my prayer.